But that's the whole point of America, is that we have like standards of decency, fairness. I love that you use that word because that is the core of it. It's fairness. Justice is overused. Fairness is underused. It's just a child knows what's fair. If his brother's getting 3 Oreos and he's getting 1, that's just unfair. He doesn't have a degree in economics. He just feels it. He knows it. The sense of fairness is innate. Dogs have it because it's part of the natural fabric. It's organic. And we are a fair country. And the rich man gets the same treatment in the justice system as the poor man. It doesn't matter where you're from. You're both citizens and you're both equal because you're both created by God. That's our whole system in one sentence. And that is being eroded because the people who run our system agree with Smotrich and every other third world dictator. These people are damned by their birth, whatever they are. That's what affirmative action is. It's like, no, I don't like the way your parents looked. You don't get the job. What? That's what we hated about the Nazis, what we hated about segregation, which I want to say was evil. Segregation was evil. Why? Because it punished some people and rewarded others on the basis of things they couldn't control, their skin color.
Yeah, and we'd had mixed babies a lot sooner, too, which are pretty cute, a lot of them, to be honest with you.
There are all kinds of other effects, but like fairness is what we need to preserve. Why is Epstein infuriating? Because it's unfair. That's why. Not just because he molested kids or his buddies molested kids. It's because the president of Harvard was involved in it. Alan Dershowitz, all these famous people. Prince retard, whatever the guy in Great Britain, the kind of retarded-looking prince.
Yeah, that guy is...
Bill Gates. All the most powerful people in the world got away with it. And there's tons of child molestation in America, but there's an expectation that they'll be punished for doing it. These people we know in our hearts will never be punished because they're rich.
But we don't know.
That's unfair.
We don't know for sure that they molested children, though.
We don't. We don't know for sure. But we know that there's never been a real inquiry into it because the people around it were powerful and rich. That we can say for sure, and that's still happening.
Okay, well, that I'll say is that, yeah, there's obvious that there's not it feels like there's a unfair investigation or a lack of investigation, or it's just this lie that keeps getting remodeled. It's this clay of a lie that keeps getting remodeled and put into the museum in front of us all the time.
But go to all your neighbors on the street and ask them.
Oh, everybody thinks something happened.
No, but ask them, like, if your name popped up as like a visitor to Pedo Island 11 times, do you think you would like be protected in the way that all these other people have been protected? Of course not. You have no money and power. You'd be
Dershowitz had a fast pass, I think, if anybody had one.
That guy's unbelievable.
I don't know, but I don't know anything. That's just allegedly.
And the Epstein thing, you know, I've never understood what the justification for keeping that information secret. Epstein was murdered in prison, okay? I know a lot about it. I'm not just throwing that out there. Epstein was murdered in prison.
Well, they put him with a cellmate that was kind of a crazy, like, former police officer, right?
Yeah, a former police officer killed a number of drug dealers. I'm not saying that guy did it, but I'm saying, well, I asked Bureau of Prisons because I learned all this stuff about it because I know Epstein's brother, Mark, well. And I never expected to go down this rabbit hole at all. The guy called me like a week after his brother was killed.
Mark did?
Yeah. And so, yeah, I was literally sitting in my backyard in Maine, and he called me, and I don't know how he got my cell. And it ended up this years-long thing. It's not interesting, and I won't bore you with it, but the bottom line is Jeff Epstein was murdered in federal lockup in Manhattan in the secure unit. I think there were only 16 men on the unit, and I think only 14 there that night. I may have that slightly wrong, but it's very small, and it's the most secure federal lockup in the United States, and he got murdered in it. So that raises all kinds of obvious questions, like who has the power to do that? So that's a big deal. And then the attorney general at the time helped cover it up. And I know him. And Bill Barr. So I say that, and he's like, oh, I'm going to sue you. And I said, go ahead and sue me. I hope you will. And what's the answer? Like, why don't you answer? He never will. Well, it turns out, and this does make you crazy, that his father, Donald Barr, is the guy who started Epstein's career, who both gave him his first job, for which he was not qualified, and then got him his second job at Bear Stearns, for which he was definitely unqualified. What is that? A former CIA guy, OSS guy. But anyway, the point is that question of how an American citizen, kid toucher or not, could get murdered in federal lockup in our biggest city. Like, holy shit, that should scare everybody. And then the Attorney General of the United States is covering it up. He admitted, this is the Attorney General, when Epstein was murdered, said, I told everyone around me, we need to make sure the country believes this was a suicide. It's like you haven't even done a freaking investigation. You're the chief law enforcement officer and you're telling me the outcome before you even look into it?
How do you know that?
Because he admitted it in his autobiography. And so I'm not guessing at any of this stuff, okay? So I call Bureau of Prisons and I'm like, I want the names of the inmates who are serving on this block because clearly nobody got in or out of the block. It's
right. Well, it also was a question to our prison system. It's like, how would you not know? Like, obviously, this is the guy you have to protect.
They did it on purpose, and he was murdered clearly by another inmate. And there is so much. I mean, I did like an hour on this. Anyone interested can look it up. But I'm not a conspiracy nut at all. I've been a journalist my whole life. I've often been wrong, but I've always been attentive to what I believe the facts to be. I think it really matters whether you're accurate, and I've tried to be. So it was not a perfect storm of screw-ups. They never did the investigation into how this guy died. They redressed him in clothes that he wasn't wearing when he died for pictures in the hospital infirmary. All the records of what happened to his body are gone. And critically, we cannot get, and I tried directly by calling the Attorney General's office, I want a list of the names of the inmates. It's publicly available. They're convicted felons, dude. Yeah. This is not secret information. It's not national security information. Why can't you tell me that? They allowed him to be murdered in federal lockup. So leave all the pedo island stuff out of it. And just ask yourself, how can we continue to live in a country where a high-profile inmate can be murdered in our prison system by who's powerful enough to do that?
Right.
And so these are not only legitimate questions, they're essential questions. And like, we're mad at the people asking them?
That's the weirdest thing.
Fuck you.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm trying to
that's one of the craziest things right now. It feels like the people you're supposed to be able to ask, you can't, we're the weird people now for asking questions. Like, it's like you get labeled as the weird guy for asking questions. They just
don't let them into your head.